Welcome back to the Citizen channel. Hope you're all staying safe and well. And we do our little match report on Leeds 0, Manchester City 4. Yeah, it wasn't as comfortable for me as the scoreline suggests, in all fairness. I didn't relax for a long time. I perhaps felt a little bit more relaxed at 2-0, but I wasn't really that relaxed, actually, because I don't think we ever quite got control of the game, and all credit to Leeds. I mean, obviously they were a little bit physical, of course, but they still certainly didn't give us much time to rest on our laurels, if you like, and I think we did lack a little bit of control, although it was comfortable at the end. But it wasn't always like that, was it? But we'll get to that in a minute anyway when I do my little match report feature. Yeah, 30th of April 2022. 5:30 p.m. kickoff. Great atmosphere there. Leeds fans did well at the end, but I think the City fans more or less outstrung them during the game. It was just the last 10 minutes or so that the Leeds fans do what we would do, certainly at Old Main Road, if you like, with a 30-odd thousand capacity. You would you getting stuffed. You may as well enjoy yourself, and that's the sort of thing we used to do. So all credit to them, apart from the all the paper and stuff. I mean, as I said, have they no skill of making paper aeroplanes in Leeds? Is it not something that's crossed the Pennines? They just have to roll it into a ball and throw this paper. So hey, there you go. It is what it is. Anyway, let's get on to the game. Yeah, City team, interesting, wasn't it? I got 8 right. I was happy with that, to be honest with you. Ederson, Cancelo, Diaz, Laporte, and Aki. Yeah, I had Zinchenko in for Aki, but it was an either-or, really, with that one. So it didn't really worry me too much. Rodri, and then the interesting one, of course, I had KDB playing. Obviously, Grealish was in his place. I didn't have Grealish in my team. Gundogan, Foden, Jesus, Sterling. I had Bernardo in there for Sterling. So, yeah, that was the 3 changes. But an interesting team. No KDB, no Bernardo, and no Mahrez, of course. 3 key players, obviously being safe for Madrid. So you do tend to think that Pep knows what he's doing. He has faith in his team, doesn't he? Let's be honest about it. Sometimes he has a lot more faith than we do. But, yeah, I mean, any stage, that team is probably good enough to beat most teams in the Premier League, and certainly a team, no disrespect to Leeds, who have been struggling, but at least Jesse Marsch has got them back to some sort of organisation. Whether it's a throwback to the old dirty Leeds of the 70s, I'm not too sure, but there's nothing wrong with being physical, but then again, you need a good referee, don't you? So that's what we'll talk about in a minute. But subs bench, Stefan, Zinchenko, KDB, Bernardo, Ferner, Mahrez, Egan Riley, and Betty and McAtee. Yeah, who's in charge? Yeah, it's Paul Turner. You've got to be in control of the game, and he never did control the game. I mean, Dallas got injured as a result of Paul Turner's timidness in not actually giving him a booking. I think that was his 5th foul in the game when he actually got the injury from causing a foul. Paul Tierney was absolutely awful, dreadful referee in my opinion yesterday. And as I say, players can get harmed if you're going to have that sort of inconsistency and letting things go and picking things up and not picking other things up. Very poor display from Paul Tierney. On VAR, we had Darren England. Yeah, so he probably had to have a look at Jesus' goal, didn't he? That was quite tight, but we were all right with that one, weren't it? Went very well. Right, on to the game itself. Yeah, nearly a disastrous start, of course, as Mr. Cancelo slips. I was singing about Gerrard in my head when that happened. I was singing it after we got away with it. Anyway, I'm just thinking, what song would that have made for Liverpool fans to sing in a few years' time? But hey, there you go. Yeah, but Rodrigo, all credit to Gundogan. He legged it back. He's not the quickest guy, is he? But at least he was first back there. And it was just poor by Rodrigo. He should have released the ball a little bit earlier. And we got away with it, which an early let-off, thankfully. And thankfully that we actually, not so long, was it? About 13 minutes, yeah, a 1-0. A disputed free kick. I've not watched it back to see what it was disputed for, but a great Foden free kick and obviously a great glancing header from Rodri to make it 1-0 after 13 minutes. Leeds 1-0 down. They certainly didn't give up on it, and they come more into the game. Aki heads a dangerous cross, followed quickly by Laporte, of course. This is during the game, who's down for about 4 minutes after a clash of heads. I think it was Koch of Leeds, Koch, Koch of, I think that's his name, or Click Koch, I don't know what his name is. But he was down. Fortunately, I must admit, I thought both players would go off, but obviously Laporte, based on what we saw for the rest of the game, was fine, no problem. 34 minutes, Firpo was over for Leeds, so they did have 1 or 2 half chances, but nothing specific. 38 minutes, yeah, a great move, great cancel Cancelo ball over right from his part of the wing over to Jesus on the left. He had work to do, Jesus. He did very, very well, did everything right, and then his shot just sort of p-rolled to the goalkeeper. A little bit disappointing. But Leeds were unsettling us all over the pitch. I make little notes if I'm not at the game, and we just never got real control. And Leeds were harassing them, physically as well. But I mean, they weren't all fouls; they were just putting themselves about. 42 minutes, of course. A Leeds mistake almost led to a great chance, but Sterling again, he does his usual Sterling, does lots of things right, and then doesn't know when to pull the trigger, or if he does pull the trigger, it's quite weak. I mean, his effort was blocked, and somehow they scrambled the ball away, but that became from a defensive error on Leeds on 42 minutes. And of course, that then came the foul by Dallas, of course, his fifth of the game, which led him to being stretchered off. But Grealish was fine, and I think the Leeds fans assumed Grealish had done something because he got injured. But obviously, it was all Dallas's fault at the end of the day. But that was his fifth foul of the game, and he hadn't carried a bucket or anything. That's why Tierney could have been a lot better. So 1-0 for City. It could have been worse. It could have been better. And of course, I wrote my little notes at half time. Leeds are upsetting City in this, but fortunately they've lacked a little bit of that final ball in the last third. Yeah, pretty awful up front. That last third of the pitch, you didn't quite know the passes were going astray, stuff like that. I wrote, but City needs to gain some control. This game is nowhere near one. So there you go. I should be there helping Pep. 52 minutes, Grealish was wide after Sterling doesn't pull the trigger. Yeah, again, he sort of keeps it, keeps harrying about with it, and it ends up with Grealish who shoots wide. So it could have been better again. 62 minutes, good play by Grealish, but Gundogan's wide with that time. 67 minutes, Gundo tries to place it. Again, one of his placing shots, but it's blocked by a mass ranks of Leeds players in the box. 72 minutes, a good chance for Rafinha, is it, for Leeds? But Diaz does well to block that one, and I think Aki did some blocking later on, and Zinchenko as well. 78 minutes, of course, we get. I missed the goal, didn't I? How could I miss the goal? Sorry, lads. Sorry. Yeah, after Grealish was wide, after Sterling fumbled, it was the 54th minute. Yeah, Foden. This thing's jumping too much when I'm trying to scroll down. Foden corner to the back, of course, and this is 54 minutes. Diaz won the header quite comfortably, and Aki, a prime striker's goal, absolutely brilliant. As I said, it settled me down a little bit. It didn't totally settle me down, but. There you go. So that was 2-0 with Foden on 54 minutes. 59 minutes, Aki was limping a little bit, I thought, and obviously Zinchenko came on to replace him. And then we had the Grealish to Gundo was wide on 62. Gundo tries to place it, but it's blocked on 67. Rafinha has a great chance, but Diaz blocks it on 72. And of course, 78 minutes, Jesus makes it 3-0. Great, just from nothing, really. I think it started from Ederson in the goal, great ball out. I can't remember who passed it on to Foden, but Foden through ball. Then Leeds were just caught napping, really wide open at the back. And Jesus, if he could just score like that all the time from chances like that, you think of the one at Wembley against Liverpool where it was 1-on-1, but he didn't have a lot of time to think about it, and he smacked it in the goal. Great goal. 79 minutes, Bernardo came on. Foden went off. 83 minutes, yes, Ferner came on. Absolutely brilliant. 89 minutes, close for Leeds, but we scrambled clear. So, yeah, they had a couple of good chances at the end. 91 minutes, Gundo has a good chance as the ball loops high from something in the box, but he sort of does a diving header, and it just sort of falls feebly wide, but he had to put a lot of power on it, and he couldn't quite get the power on it. And 91 minutes, Leeds almost again, but I've been going on about Ederson and saving with his feet, and finally he does. Perhaps he's been listening to me, or someone's been listening to me. Finally he saves a shot with his feet. I said he tries always to dive and save shots. He never seems to stick a foot out, and sometimes he could, and he certainly did in the 91st minute. And then 93 minutes, yeah, it looks as though it was a penalty, didn't it? It looks as though it was a push on Sterling. He might have made a meal of it, but fortunately it fell for Ferner, who wellered it. It might have had a slight deflection, I think, but it was on target, so it counted as his goal. And at 4-0, yes, I was all right then. I was probably all right at 3-0, to be honest with you. But yeah, 4-0. I did have a clean sheet both on my
both teams to score no on my odds show. So more money for charity because both bets came in this week. So that's great. But yeah, Ferner wrapped it up. Key stats, yeah, Leeds 7 shots, 2 on target. City 19 shots, 6 on target. I think that's more or less in line with what we saw, really. Possession 61% for City. At times, Leeds had a lot of possession. As I said, we never quite controlled it, I don't think. Pass completion 77% for Leeds, 88% for City. Stuart Brennan and me now with the ratings. Very, very odd ones from Mr. Brennan today. We'll talk about them as we get to him. I'm going to give him my minimum score is 7. Some guys have got less than 7 yesterday, and some guys have got more. But as I watched it live, I've not rewatched it, but some interesting stuff, especially from Mr. Brennan. So here we go from the evening news. Edison, Stewart said even his passing was off on a lackadaisical day for the Blues. I made one save with his feet in added time. Was he for 6? I thought I'd give him a 7. Yes, his passing was off, but I think 2 or 3 times he came out to clear danger. And he used his feet for that save for one. So I'm not going to give him any less than the standard 7, in all fairness. I don't think he was that bad. I don't know. But as I said, Stuart's on a funny one today. João Cancelo, Stuart said, looks so much better at left back. He does. He's useless at right back, I'll be honest with you. Poor decisions, slack passing, and then an amazing goal line clearance late on. Well, hopefully he can contribute in some way. Stuart's given him a 6. I give him a 6.5. Yeah, I thought he just had a poor game overall, but yes, he did help out when the game was already won, so keep a clean sheet. But I don't think Cancelo I want him back on the left, in all fairness. I don't like him on the right. Ruben Diaz, Stuart said, at times looked like he was a centre-back who took a blow to the head, but hit back with an assist to Aki. Stuart's giving 5. I didn't think it was that bad. And I know Leeds had a lot of things, but a lot of stuff broke down well before the penalty area. So Stuart's giving a 5. I mean, I've just given him a standard 7. I thought it was okay. And as I said, he had an assist as well. I think Stuart's obviously something wrong. I think Stuart's in a bit of a mood when he wrote these. Aymeric Laporte, Stuart said, great, brave, saving header. Yep, that forced lengthy treatment and another brilliant block and Rafinha. So he's given him an 8. Yeah, I have to echo it last. I agree with Stuart there. I give him an 8 as well. Excellent in the circumstances, considering he took that knock. Hopefully he's fine now going forward as well. Nathan Aki Stewart said, had a torrid time as Leeds targeted him first half with little support from Grealish, but his goal was crucial. Unfair on Grealish, but we'll talk about him later. Stewart's only given him a 6, Aki. All right, I thought it was a great goal. He wasn't perfect at the back, but as I said, I don't think we sort of were that perfect as a team. So I'm going to give him 7.5. He scored a goal. I thought it was okay. It's always an extra point for a goal. Perhaps he would have got 6.5 without the goal. Lost half a point, but I've got to give up. That made up for the blemishes for me. I don't think there's anything untoward with Aki at all. And the fact he was limping, perhaps some of his play was based on the fact he took a knock. I'm not too sure. Rodri, excellent, says Stuart. Glancing headers to give City the lead, and he gradually asserts his dominance over midfield. Yeah, Stuart's given him a 7. To say he's not been very kind with Rodri either. Yeah, I thought it was a good goal. I thought it was okay again without anything. I think he enjoyed himself. It's a physical battle. He's not always great at that, is he? But I thought he did okay. Ilkay Gundogan, superb chase back and tackle to Rodrigo. It was early in the game, but a rugged game didn't suit him. It doesn't, does he? He doesn't like. Not perhaps it's his bad back. I'm not too sure. Stuart's given him a 6. I give him a 6.5. I can't really add to what Stuart says there. In all fairness, so I give him 6.5. I didn't think again He's looking that he probably has got a bad back for me, especially with that header that went wide, that diving header. But it is what it is. Phil Foden, Stuart said, moments of magic in the number 10 role, and he ended up with 2 assists and a big hand in the other goal. Yeah, I mean, how can you not? Stuart's given him an 8. I'll have to agree with it. He made up. Obviously, he was asked to step up, wasn't he, with KDB and Bernardo not there. So, and he certainly didn't do any harm, did he? He certainly took that responsibility, I thought. So, yeah, I can't disagree with Stuart there. I can with some, but not this one. Raheem Sterling, Stuart said, some thrilling runs had Leeds in tatters at times, but could not make it pay off. So give him an 8. Where's he got an 8 from for Sterling? I mean, yeah. What is the use of leaving a team in tatters if you don't do anything with it? I don't see the point. So where do you get 8 out of 10 from? But I might be being cruel. I'll give him a 6.5. No end product. Normal service has resumed as far as Sterling's concerned. Looks as though he can do it, and then he just doesn't know what to do with it. He doesn't know how to do or to score, or doesn't know how to pass it or whatever. Just normal. And that's what we've seen from Sterling a lot. Certainly this season. Gabby Jesus, Stuart said, handed handed the sacrificial central role he was, worked hard and claimed his reward with another emphatic finish. Stuart's given me 7. Actually, I'll give him 7.5, but I'll be honest with you, I forgot he was playing for about 20 minutes. I didn't realise he was on the pitch. But I think he got more into it, and I think Stuart's probably right there. And yeah, he did a great finish, and all right, not his greatest game, but I've got to give him a point for the goal. So again, he would have got less than average otherwise, but yeah, 7.5 from me, 7 from Stuart. But again, great. I mean, that's 3 games on the trot he scored now, isn't it? Jack Grealish, this is an interesting one. And I think obviously it'll split opinion, I think, with you lot out there as well. Jack Grealish, Stuart says, still short of being a major influence of games. Could start by staying on his feet more often. Stuart's given him a 4. Wow. I thought he grew into it as the game went on, and I think as Leeds fans got wound up and the players got wound up, he got better, and that's what he's good. He's good at that shithousery, isn't he? And he was always a wind-up. He did a lot of good things, I thought, but obviously not in sort of the final thing, but just keeping hold of the ball, which we struggled to do. I thought he did fine. I thought he stayed on his feet reasonably well. If he got fouled, he got fouled, and it's just turn. He didn't give him what he should have done. Yeah, but I give him half a point less than average, but I don't think it was a 4 that Stuart's giving him. I'm very surprised by that. I give him 6.5. I thought it was all right. I thought it got better as the game went on. The subs, Zinchenko, Faraki on 59. Improved the quality, said Stuart. Sorry, Stuart. I thought it was bloody awful. I think he had a clearance off the line, but I think he gave the ball away so many times. I might be wrong, but that was my impression when he came on for the last 30-odd minutes. I think he was a pretty poor game from Zinchenko, apart from the last minute off the liner. Bernardo for Foden, 79. No time to mark. Livened things up, said Stuart. And the other one, of course, Fernandinho. He's no time to mark for but you've marked this guy, Stuart. Anyway, more Premier League appearances than any other Brazilian. Fantastic. Well done, Ferner. 260. Magnificent. He came on in the 83rd minute, added a goal in stoppage time to Stuart. He gave him a 7, so obviously there was enough time to mark him, perhaps because he got a goal. I'm being churlish, of course, but a great goal. Well done, Ferner. Proud of you. Man of the match, yeah, it was between 2. I originally thought Laporte, and then I had a look back and a think and a ponder. And yeah, I'll give it Foden. Who had to step up without KDB and Bernardo there, and I thought he did totally. So Laporte had a brilliant. I thought Laporte was excellent, but I'll just give it Foden for my man of the match. Let me know what yours is, guys. Let me know your player ratings or any. What do you think of Stuart's ratings, or is he spot on? Am I miles out? I just thought 3 or 4 of those ratings were a bit weird, up and down, very odd. Overall record now reads played 54 at Leeds' place. I think it's Ellen Road. I'm not too sure what they had another ground before that. Played 54, won 16 now, drawn 9 and lost 29. So we're edging up a little bit. I say it's not one of our happy hunting grounds. So anyway, we'll take any win there. Leeds going forward, yeah, they're still in trouble, aren't they? Let's be honest about it. Jesse Marsh has added a bit of steel to it. As I say, we used to call Leeds dirty Leeds in the old days. They had some cracking players, but they knew how to mix it as well. And this lot perhaps don't have the cracking players, but they know how to mix it. And all credit to them, they're fighting for their lives, so I don't blame them at all. But some of the stuff going forwards was very rushed sometimes you rush things they didn't need to, like as though they were panicking. All right, they're down there, they need the points, so perhaps that's why. But yeah, and it did cause us problems, and I think they would have caused us more problems if they'd been better up front and took the time a little bit more and not been as panicky. It will go down to the wire, I think. Now with they have got 5 points over Everton. Everton's got a game in hand, obviously playing Chelsea today, so we'll have to see how that goes. But unless Everton and Burnley make a mess of things, I think they're going to be, they could struggle. I mean, if Everton do manage to pick up some points, because, they're the same points as Burnley, gone above them on goal difference. They haven't got a great goal difference, that's a problem. But if they can pick up 6 points in the last 4 games, it might be enough. But they've got Arsenal away next. They're not going to get much from that. And a defeat there will make it even more stressful, certainly if Everton have picked up points as well. So that'll mean they need perhaps 6 points from the last 3 games, but they won't. If Everton and Burnley flop or don't do it. So it is going to be an interesting one, isn't it? And I'd say it's not all up to Leeds, is it? It is in their own hands, fortunately, like ourselves. It's in their own hands, so they can do it. And I've seen enough there from the battling aspects. I think they just need to calm down and play a little bit better up front. As long, I don't mind now. They played us, I don't care. But say they did have chances yesterday, but they didn't quite know how to finish it off. But yeah, it'll be very interesting over the next 3 or 4 games anyway. As far as us, we're going to have to do far better than that against Real Madrid. Yeah, it will be a different team. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Aki's all right. I say he was limping. Hopefully, I don't know. I can't see Walker coming back now, and his Stones is out. We could have problems for this. I think defensively we are struggling just a little bit at the moment. We're not looking as compact as we have done in the past, despite Diaz and Laporte playing well. We're just not as efficient. Of course, we'll have Cancelo, which didn't have last time. Well, as I say, Leeds could have easily scored 2 or 3, I think, yesterday. Okay, if we give Real Madrid that sort of, say respect, but I mean, we just say lack of control by City, and we looked a bit panicky. We looked a bit panicky at times, in the same way Leeds were panicky when they got into our third. I thought we looked a bit panicky at the back, and plenty of bodies, plenty of work by the guys, but things weren't quite coming off. And it was 88% pass completion, so it wasn't a total disaster, but I just thought we lacked control. And obviously, we'll talk about Real Madrid anyway when we do the preview show. Join me for that in a day or 2 anyway. But that closes the goal difference up nicely. So win 4 games, and the title is ours. As I say, we'll chat Real Madrid soon, but we did what we had to do. And I say, it certainly wasn't as comfortable as I hoped for a 4-0. Let me know what you think, guys, anyway, whether you were comfortable at 1-0, 2-0. I'd say we just didn't have that control for me to get totally comfortable with that. I felt better at 2. I felt a lot better at 3. And once the 4th went in, I was fairly sure we were okay then. But hey, that's me. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Please join me for the preview of the Real Madrid game, of course, the odds show. As I said, another win last week for the charity with this game for the charity with both bets winning. So I'll tell you more about that in the odds show. And let's see what value. There certainly should be some value on Real Madrid away. It's going to be a good game, isn't it? I might get some interesting odds on that one. So join me for that this week. Thanks for watching, guys. Whatever you're going to do, please, I only ask one thing, don't I? Please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.